How has any of this really changed since the dark times of slavery? The only difference is that the target is white males. But the song remains the same, does it not? Modern feminist ideology is no different from racist ideology from the past. But instead, they choose to conquer and divide based on gender instead of race. Well, way to go, feminists. Way to carry on that hate. Because racism, that's an old shoe. However, sexism, or men in general, that's the new boogeyman. The article then goes on to say this.
Today, too, feministic crusaders against rape claim there can never be redemption for rapists. Of all crimes, the committers of this one alone apparently can never be rehabilitated and return to normal life. At the weekend, the Times resident feminist Caitlin Moran explicitly insisted that rapists can never be redeemed. In a chilling piece headlined "The Limits of Redemption," she said even rapists who have served their time should have their lives made publicly, endlessly awful, unrelentingly humiliating, without prospect of absolution. Moran says perhaps the only way society can be good is to stop believing in redemption for a while.
Even in regards to the modern concept of serial murder, redemption is still considered possible by most people. But if you rape, or have even simply been accused of rape, well, apparently you deserve no such sympathy, according to today's feminists and the modern mangina. Yes, these people are sick in the head. They are ill. They're not well. They need medical treatment. What they don't need is a stage and an audience to listen to their complete idiocy. Now let's move on to point number 5 from this article.
Infantilizing women. In the old Deep South, there were some brave female voices, and including white ones, which challenged the panic about black rape culture on the grounds that it both victimized black men and patronized white women. Jessie Daniel Ames was a Texas-born, well-off white woman, a suffragette, and an anti-racist, who in 1930 founded the Association of Southern Women for the Prevention of Lynching. She argued that the lynching of rape suspects was fueled by assumptions as degrading to white women as they were oppressive to blacks. She believed that the hysteria over rape and the war on rape were carried out under the guise of chivalric protection of white females, which actually demeans women and reinforces the myth of female vulnerability. She called on women to throw off the crown of chivalry, which has been pressed like a crown of thorns on our heads. Mercifully, no one is lynched in the modern West for rape or any other crime, but the logic of those old lynch mobs is making a comeback. From the instant acceptance of the word of rape accusers to the demonization of fair and rigorous criminal justice procedures, from the spreading of panic about a rape culture to the depiction of women as vulnerable creatures at permanent risk from lustful men, all the prejudices that fueled the old racist war on rape are being rehabilitated on the back of the new non-racist feministic war on rape.
And this is rooted in chivalry, where women must always be protected by men from the dangers of the world, which also includes other men, even though today modern Western women are in very little danger of anything serious. This is where traditionalists fall flat on their heads. Their out-of-date equations when it comes to man-woman relations only help to add fuel to the fire in regards to current rape hysteria and the attitude of rape lynchings. Presuming any man accused of rape as guilty before his due process or any confrontation clause is the epitome of traditionalism, where women are too fragile to be able to protect themselves. This is a warning to my MGTOW brothers. Any man that promotes traditionalism is a man you must also be suspicious of. And there are many like this now trying to hijack the moniker of MRA and MGTOW. They know who they are. You must learn to know them also. Now I would like to show an article that Bernard Chapin explained in a great video. I'll link both the video and the article below. The video by Sir Chapin is titled 1 in 5? Nope, 0.03 in 5. And he goes over the article by The Federalist titled New DOJ Data on Sexual Assaults, College Students Are Actually Less Likely to Be Victimized. Yes, he goes over this in his video, and the article is a wonderful piece of work. And in it, it talks about new actual statistics on rape. And no, not the feminist bullshit statistics that we see every day in popular media with no evidence. So I will begin by reciting the article and go on from there. And in it, it states this.
A new report on sexual assault released today by the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, officially puts to bed the bogus statistics that 1 in 5 women on college campuses are victims of sexual assault. In fact, non-students are 25% more likely to be victims of sexual assault than students, according to the data. And the real number of assault victims is several orders of magnitude lower than 1 in 5. The full study, which was published by the Bureau of Justice Statistics, a division from DOJ, found that rather than 1 in 5 female college students becoming victims of sexual assault, the actual rate is 6.1 per 1,000 students, or 0.61% instead of 1 in 5. The real number is 0.03 in 5. For non-students, the rate of sexual assault is 7.6 per 1,000 people. The higher rate of victimization among non-students is important, due in large part to recent accusations that U.S. colleges and universities are hotbeds of so-called rape culture, where sexual assault is endemic, and administrators and other students are happy to look the other way. The bogus 1 in 5 statistic, which was the product of a highly suspected survey of only 2 universities and which paid respondents for their answers, has been repeatedly used as evidence for this pervasive rape culture on college campuses across the country. Even more striking is that, according to the BJS data, the likelihood of sexual assault has actually been trending downward across the board since 1997.
So we need to ask at this point, how has it come to this? How has it come to manipulation and blatant lies? How has it come to where the lies of the few dominate the minds of so many? Is this the media? Is this the television? The internet? Is it something else? Has it always been like this? And if so, for how long? We need to start asking these specific questions. These questions will take us to the next level. This will help the MGTOW men understand the battle that they are fighting. We can't stand idle as MGTOW and just absorb what is being thrown at us. We need to understand the nature of our enemy. We need to ask better questions. But, for example, as far as better questions are concerned, you could ask people like this, the self-proclaimed individualist feminist Wendy McElroy, and a woman, and you might get an answer something like this.
Wendy McElroy, welcome to the program. I have had a number of times Christina Hoff Sommers. You two have a lot in common in blowing the lid off falsifications, and she has described many attacks on her based upon her just simply wanting the truth out there. What have you had to survive in that regard?
Oh, everything from I'm financed by the pornography industry to seriously, that was a serious one, to attacks. I'm very careful with my scholarship, so they can't do much on accuracy, but they can go after things like that.
Why do people? Okay, motivation. What would be the motivation? In general, I see this in the feminist writings. There's a lot of exaggerations and fabrications to make a point. What's the motivation?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of federal funding involved, and if you want
follow the money.
If you want to drive for federal funding, you need hyperbole. You can't just say, "Wouldn't it be nice?" or "This balanced study says men and women are victimized equally, so let's pass the Violence Against Women Act." You can't do that. If you're going to push those acts through Congress, you need the funding and you need to have the hyperbole. Also, especially now in periods where there's a real tug of war, political bipartisanship. The Democrats are pro-woman. That's the constituency. That's their base. They want the GOP. They want libertarians. They want conservatives to be the anti-women. So, it's an old story, money and power. These people are funded by the people who want advocacy research. They don't want the accuracy. They want the advocacy research. They have tenured positions. It's almost a religious position that women are the victims and men are the perpetrators. I don't know why a law like the Violence Against Women Act needs to have the word women in it. Why it shouldn't be violence against victims. A lot of researchers look at data and see what they want to see, especially when they're being driven by a belief that the truth is there if only they look hard enough and sort through it enough.
I went to graduate school at Columbia University, and way after I left, guys were getting thrown out of school because some girl said, he raped me. There was no legalities involved. He just got thrown out.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
It's much worse now because they've basically taken away a lot of what are considered to be due process and procedural rights of anyone who's accused. You cannot face your accuser. You cannot even know the name of your accuser. If she wishes to remain anonymous, then that's her right because she deserves to be protected. Now, I know that due process
gives bitches a lot of power.
That's a lot of power. And the fact is that even though it's not a criminal procedure, this can harm a person's life as much as a criminal conviction.
Oh, you want to come to our new university? That's fine. Now, why did you leave Columbia University? Oh, you were thrown out because you raped a girl? Okay. Yeah, that eliminates his future.
So you're 6 months from graduation and you will never get that license to be a lawyer? Fine. And it will follow you on your record in the military, in anything else that you go on to or into. This is something that devastates people's lives, and the thing that bothers me the most is that these devastating, inhumane tactics are being used in the name of compassion and caring for victims. And
clever, don't you think?
I think they believe it. I think a lot of them actually believe it, and that makes
you give people way too much credit. I believe they know exactly what they're doing, and they like the power.
I think it's even more frightening if they actually believe what they're doing, because
yes.
I would much rather bargain with a cynic who can be bought.
You can't bargain with evil, I know, but you can't. And in my opinion, after 40 years of dealing in this milieu, it's definitely intentional.